The story follows little Anna, the daughter of Jack and Ly Tu Tien, who suddenly developed a dangerously high fever. Despite giving her medicine, her condition worsens, forcing her worried parents to rush her to the hospital. Throughout a long, anxious night, they take turns watching over her, terrified of losing their daughter. Thanks to the doctor's care and her parents' unwavering love, Anna slowly regains consciousness and recovers. The moment she opens her eyes and smiles, the whole family embraces in overwhelming relief and happiness, cherishing the sacred bond they share. If you enjoy touching stories about family love, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any future heartwarming videos. Your support inspires us to continue creating meaningful stories. That morning, when the sunlight had not yet slipped through the thin white curtains in little Anna's bedroom, a strange sense of unease weighed heavily on Ly Tu Tien's heart. She woke up because of a faint wheezing sound from the small bed beside hers. Anna, her beloved daughter with Jack, usually woke up very early, chirping endlessly about her dreams or asking all kinds of curious questions no adult could anticipate. But today, the little girl lay curled up, her cheeks abnormally flushed, her breath hot like burning coal. Just a touch to her forehead was enough for Tien to know something was wrong. "Jack, wake up," she whispered, her voice trembling. Jack opened his eyes, looked at his wife, then at his daughter. In just a moment, the calm demeanor of a CEO vanished, replaced by a father's overwhelming worry. He quickly stood up, placed his large hand on Anna's forehead, then squeezed Tien's hand gently, as if to confirm that he too felt the same fear. Their daughter had a high fever. The couple immediately moved Anna to the sofa and took her temperature. The number that appeared stunned them both: 39.8 degrees Celsius. Far too high for a 4-year-old child, and it tightened their hearts with fear. Tien scrambled through the medicine cabinet for children's fever reducers. Jack prepared warm water and soft towels to cool their daughter down. They'd cared for Anna through minor illnesses before, but this time was different. She was so lethargic that she didn't even have the strength to whimper or fuss. Her arms hung limp, her eyes half closed, as if sinking into a hazy exhaustion. After giving her medicine, they took turns wiping her body, hoping the temperature would drop. Tien sat beside her, whispering softly, "Anna, my love, hold on. You're a strong girl." Jack replaced the now cool towel with a warm one, his throat tightening as he looked at his daughter's exhausted face. Work, meetings, deals, none of it meant anything when he saw her so weak and helpless. But an hour passed, then 2, and the fever still didn't go down. Worse, Anna began to breathe rapidly, her whole body burning, her lips dry and pale. When she started slipping in and out of consciousness, Tien broke into tears. Jack made the decision instantly. They had to take her to the hospital. The drive to the hospital was the longest journey they had ever taken, even though it was less than 10 minutes away. Jack carried Anna in his arms, rushing each step, while Tien kept calling her daughter's name, trying to keep her awake. Inside the car, Anna's shallow breaths filled the space with a suffocating dread. At the hospital, doctors immediately took her into the emergency room. As the doors closed, Jack and Tien stood outside, hollow and terrified. They held hands tightly, clinging to one another for strength. Tien rested her head on Jack's shoulder, tears falling endlessly. For the first time, Jack, usually so strong and decisive, felt utterly powerless. All he could do was hold his wife, though he himself was trembling. The minutes dragged by like centuries. Each passing second felt like a blade twisting in their hearts. When the doctor finally emerged, both parents jumped to their feet. "We're working to reduce her fever," the doctor said calmly but seriously. "She has a significant infection. We'll need to monitor her closely and start IV fluids." Tien nearly collapsed if Jack hadn't held her up. They thanked the doctor and continued waiting, watching the door anxiously, hoping for any sign of good news. Eventually, they were allowed into the hospital room where Anna lay on a small bed, an IV line attached to her tiny hand. Her skin was paler, but her breathing steadier. Jack sat down beside her, took her small hand, and kissed it. Tien stroked her hair, whispering stories the little girl loved, though she knew Anna couldn't fully hear them yet. Through the night, they took turns caring for her. When Tien fell asleep from exhaustion, Jack took off his jacket and draped it over her, then kept watch over Anna. When Jack dozed off from fatigue, Tien awoke, checked her daughter's temperature, and continued the vigil. They didn't need to speak. They both understood that they would not rest until their daughter was safe. Time moved slowly, drop by drop, but the next morning, when the soft sunlight spilled into the hospital room, a small miracle occurred. Anna stirred. Her eyes slowly opened, weak but conscious. "Mom?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. Tien almost burst into tears, showering her daughter with kisses. Jack wrapped his arms around both of them, lowering his head to hide his reddened eyes. "You scared us so much, Anna," he murmured. The little girl smiled faintly. Her lips were still pale, but her eyes had regained a spark of life. Her tiny hand reached up to touch her father's cheek, then her mother's, as if reassuring them that she was all right. The doctors returned for a checkup and informed them that Anna's fever had broken and she was out of danger. With a few more days of monitoring, she would recover completely. The news washed away the darkness that had weighed on them for the past 24 hours. Tien sat beside Anna, running her fingers through her daughter's soft hair, tears falling not from fear anymore, but from relief and gratitude. In that moment, Jack looked at his wife and daughter and smiled, a rare, gentle smile seldom seen on the usually stern CEO's face. He realized that no matter how great his career was, nothing compared to the fragile breath of his little girl. And there, in that simple hospital room, he rediscovered a truth people often forget. Family is the most sacred thing in life. That afternoon, when Anna managed a few spoonfuls of porridge for the first time since falling ill, Jack and Tien sat on either side of her, watching as though witnessing a miracle. The three of them embraced tightly, a hug too full of emotion for words to express. Warmth spread among them, dissolving all remnants of fear, leaving only love. A love deep and gentle, the kind that carries people through every hardship.